All right, welcome to the weekend video. This is Enda here. I always start it the same way. If you're interested in nightly Elliott wave analysis and you like what I do, head over to bullwaves.org. Okay, let's get into the charts. Let's get over here. And I'm going to go through the markets from an Elliott wave perspective, pretty much pure technical analysis based on patterns, repetitive and stacked patterns. So if you like that, stick around. Okay, getting the dollar crosses first. I didn't I didn't warm up vocally coming into this, so bear with me if I sound a bit croaky. All right, so this is the euro dollar 4 hour. Been watching this second wave decline. I think we're on the way towards a C wave decline now. So I think we could be working on 5 waves down within wave C. There is an alternate count for wave B here. Let's get in there a little bit. There is a possible alternate count here for wave B as an expanded flat correction, but we'll see how it goes. So far, the action to the downside looks impulsive, so I think wave C is probably underway here. You can see here's the B wave pattern, and it looks like a 1-2 pattern beginning wave C down. So I think possibly later on today we should get another leg lower into wave 3 of C. If we don't, then we'll switch that alternate pattern for wave B here, which would involve an expanded flat correction. But so far so good. Let's see if we move lower into wave C later on today. Cable is actually a little bit, it's a bit up in the air, to be honest, at the moment. There is a possibility, how do I word this the best way? There's a possibility that we may even have wave B complete. I'm not, singing and dancing about that now yet because I just don't like the internal pattern here. But we've had a pretty strong retracement today, earlier on this morning. Yet to be decided, but there is a bare minimum possibility that we have this wave C already done. Like I said, I don't favor that, but let's see how it works out. For the moment, I'm going with this B wave triangle here. So it's an ABC pattern lower. There's a B wave triangle here. And then we're possibly working on this 5-wave decline, much like euro dollar, but a 5-wave decline into wave C to complete wave B. That'd be a wave B higher low, somewhere around 115 or so. And then we'd rally again in wave C. So we will see. Tentatively, kind of on tenterhooks today, to be honest. We'll see how the pattern develops down into wave C. So let's move on. This is dollar yen, 4-hour count in dollar yen. Still expecting a 5th wave rally coming our way, over the next few weeks. There's a bit of short-term consolidation to get over for the moment, but I think we're completing the first leg, or sorry, how do you say? We're getting towards the end of the first leg up in this 5th wave. At the moment, I'm toying with the idea that we have a 3rd wave of wave 1 complete. This will be a 3rd wave of wave 3 complete. The action over the last couple of days has been a little bit hairy. It's been a little bit less decisive, let's say. We have completed a possible 5-wave pattern. We could say that this wave 3 is complete down here. It's a new high, and then we've come off that high, not substantially, but reasonably so far. For the moment, I'm still allowing for the idea that we have a 5th wave pattern yet to complete in wave 3, somewhere up around 140, and then we'll correct lower into wave 4. So this will be wave 3, 4, and 5 of wave 3. So this is a nested pattern, so we have a larger wave 3 to complete here also. But at the moment, I'm still suggesting that we have a 5th wave pattern here to complete. So we still have the possibility of further upside towards 140 to complete wave 5 of 3. And if that happens, I think then I'll look lower into wave 4 early next week, or towards the middle of next week. Anyway, for the moment, and dollar yen is kind of moving along reasonably well. Here's the 1-2 pattern. Here's the 4-hour count. So, and here would be wave 3 that I'm looking at. Yes. Okay. For the moment, we're still looking higher, with the possibility of a further correction next week before topping out this third wave here. Like I said, I need some kind of more. I need more information in the price action to confirm that wave 3 here is done before I go looking into wave 4. Okay, let's move on. Here is the stock market. There's the Dow. We were looking for a decline this week. So far we have a reasonably impulsive decline. I think this is wave 3 of 1, the downside, and this would be wave 1 of a larger nested wave 3. So if we get a daily count here, so I'll show you that larger wave 3 here in blue. Okay, so we're talking about a third wave that could bring us down towards about 25,000. And this would be the initial 1-2 pattern down, or the initial, let's say, wave 1 down of 3. So you can see how that pattern kind of nests here. So we're working on this wave 1 in green here to the downside, and I would like that initial decline to drop probably back towards about 30,000 again before it completes. So let's get to the lower degree pattern here. You can see that's the wave 1 that we're working on. And within that wave 1, we've got wave 3 most likely underway right now. And within that wave 3, we've got wave 3 of 3 most likely underway right now. So that's the pattern we were working with last week. A second wave, lower high, pretty much in place off that wave 2. So I've got wave 1, 2, and then we're looking at wave 3 down. So within wave 3, we've got wave 1 and 2, and now with a bit of luck, we're moving into wave 3 of 3. So I've been kind of, let's say, between two stools here on whether we've got wave 1 and 2 of 3 already done, or whether we're only completing wave 1 now. Kind of, I suppose that's yet to be decided. For the moment, there's enough um, internal pattern here within this week's decline to call wave 1 done. We do have a pretty, a simple 3-wave pattern higher into yesterday's lower high and Thursday's lower high to call that wave 2. And then we moved sharply lower towards close last night. And that pretty much falls right into, let's say, the ballpark of what wave 3 would be we would suspect wave 3 to do. So I think there's still further downside here. I would be looking initially for wave 3 to complete below 31,500, with for wave 3 in pink to complete below 31,500. But I would even prefer more than that, to be quite honest. I'd prefer somewhere down around 3,500 to complete that wave 3 in pink. So there's a lot more downsides to go here if I'm correct on this pattern. So I think the next couple of days, if I'm right here, the next couple of days should be continual steps lower, and we should break in. We should probably break below 31,000 anyway to complete wave 3 in pink. So it's going to be an interesting few days. So let's move on here. Okay. Here is gold. Here's the 4-hour count in gold. Working on an ABC pattern lower. I suppose I should get. Hang with me there for a second. Right, A, B, and C. Okay, so we have wave A done, I think. We may have wave B done, but a little bit like Eurodollar, there's a kind of there's a caveat on that one. But the base case scenario today is that we are working on wave C down. Wave C, if we reach equality with wave A, let's get a fib grid on that. If wave C reaches equality with wave A, then we're looking at about 1700, let's say, to complete wave C. The 78.6 retracement of wave 1 comes in at 1689. So somewhere around that 1700 ballpark would be, more than ideal, I think, to complete wave 2. And at that point, I'll be screaming, I'll be screaming, get in, because I think this is a larger 1-2 impulsive pattern to the upside, and I think wave 3 will be quite something to behold once it actually does get underway. Okay, so gold. Let's get the hourly count here. Possible wave A down, done. 3 waves up. Possible wave B high in place, and maybe a 1-2 pattern off that high now this week. So I would like to see further downside. I'd like to see, today definitely, or the next day or two, I'd like to see a slice down through 1800 in wave 3. Even, the projections for wave 3 right now are looking at about 1757, 1760 or so for wave 3. That's like a fib projection for a Fibonacci projection for wave 3 of C. So wave 3 has, work to do, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, let's move on. Crude oil. The pattern in crude oil this week pretty much changed my mind. Let's get this back in proportion here. I didn't change the 4-hour pattern, I should have. But anyway, let's move on. I think we've probably got wave 1 and 2 in blue now done, and we're working on wave 3 down. So that was let's say that was always the kind of alternate idea here, but we've got 3 waves up in wave 2, and then a possible 1-2 pattern at 3 waves again to a lower high. And if we get a channel here, we have 3 waves up completed at a lower high. We have not a new low this week yet, but we do have a pretty impulsive, spike lower off a lower high. So the let's say the base case scenario here would be that we are beginning a third wave decline, and it would be a third of a third, probably a third of a third of a third. And if that's the case, it should be, quite an impulsive move lower over the next few weeks. But for the moment, looks like we have 3 waves up done in wave 2 in green, and then we have a 1-2 pattern now underway, which should begin a third wave, a nested third wave decline within wave 3 green. Like I said, we haven't hit a new low yet below wave 1 here. I'm looking at wave 1 in blue to break 73.85 before, let's say, correcting, substantially higher in wave 2. So that's kind of the level I'm looking at today. It looks like for the moment that level is kind of holding the market. So once we do break through that 73 handle again, I think that will tip the balance definitely majorly in favor of a third wave decline. So watch that space next week. Okay, here's the 4-hour S&P, pretty much the same pattern as the Dow. We have a second wave lower high in green there. We have a 1-2 pattern down. Actually, slightly different pattern in in the S&P. 1-2 pattern down to a lower high, and now definitely impulsive action over the last couple of days, suggesting that wave 3 is now underway. Here you can see that 1-2 pattern, expanded flat wave 2, and then again the impulsive declines this week, suggesting that wave 3 in pink is underway. Now there are a couple of ways you could view this. You could view, you know, the decline into last night's lows as wave 1, and then if we correct higher, you know, let's say towards 4,000 again, that would suggest a larger 1 and 2 pattern in wave 3. So you know, there's still options here. I'm not, let's say, completely. Um, I'm not, let's say, I'm not going to die on that hill. Let's say that wave 3 of 3 is already underway, but I'm just suggesting that the action yesterday does favor that view right now. If we so far the futures this morning or the overnights, let's say in the US, is let's say slightly buoyant anyway. We're up off the lows, not incredibly impressively yet, but let's see how the market opens and the pre-market goes. That's not going to decide the day either, but if we do, let's say, bounce substantially in the pre-market, then we'll probably move to that larger 1-2 pattern here. For the moment, I'm tracking a possible third wave down. I'm going to stick with that until it gets ruled out completely. Um, I am suggesting in wave 3 pink, a low somewhere below 3,700 would be very favorable, I think, towards my long-term view on this one. So, yeah, a break of 3,700 that breaks the previous wave B low. You can see there on the 4-hour count. It's a three-wave pattern higher in wave 2. Break of 3,700 breaks the wave B low. If we get there in wave 3 pink, that would suggest even lower in wave 1 in blue. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll see how the day's action plays out. But for the moment, still tracking wave 3 of 1 lower. Okay, let's get down to silver. We do Bitcoin first. Now, I think this week's action has pretty much confirmed my viewpoint here. There's the daily count. I was tracking that fourth wave in blue. You know, everybody and their mother was coming in last week, and you know, or over the last few weeks. Let's say we've had a reasonable rally in Bitcoin, but everybody I know they were screaming at me saying, you know, the bull market in Bitcoin is back. The bull market is, you know, undieable or undefeatable, so on and so forth. You know, I saw those headlines. You know, Bitcoin the best performing asset in 2023. You know, I'd say those whoever wrote those headlines are chewing on that paper right now. Um, no, it ain't, and it's not an asset. I don't think either, so it doesn't qualify. Um, it's contingent on so many different things. It's not an asset in itself. Okay, here's 4-hour count. There's the 5-wave pattern higher in wave C of 4, and I was pointing out this gap within wave 3. So that'll be the gap within wave 3 of 3. And I was suggesting on the hourly count, if we broke into that gap again, if we filled that gap, here's the gap between 19,400, let's say, and 2,100. If we fill that gap, I think that pretty much ends that fourth wave rally, and that's exactly what we're dealing with right now. I think we've probably traced out a third wave decline within wave 1. Within wave 1, maybe even wave 1 of 1. So of 5. We have a long way down to go here, I think. And I'm still suggesting, let's go to the daily count there. I'm still suggesting that we see a low in wave 5, probably back below 3,000. So there's a long, long way down to go yet. And if I'm confirmed on this wave count here, you know, there's going to be nothing but pain for the next, you know, significant period of time. The next year probably is going to be painful for Bitcoin. But when everybody hates it, then I'll be saying, get into it. Okay, anyway, let's go to silver, 4-hour count in silver. You know, I'm toying with the idea that we have a low in place for silver pretty soon. You know, we're quite close to, invalidation levels. The invalidation level for the current wave count that I have is 1808, or is it? Let's get back here. Call it 1806. That's the invalidation level for this wave count. Right now we're hovering around that $20 level. So, it's not, that's 4-hour count again, not beyond the realms of possibility that we fall into $18. Um, for the moment, I am suggesting that this is still a second wave. But, you know, if it is a second wave, we're pretty close to that final low in wave C. But I am still looking for one more leg down, I think. Um, there's still, the absolute rule out low for this bullish pattern is at 1756. So we're safe until we get to 1756 in wave 2. But anyway, a couple of months ago, people were screaming at me that silver was going to go to the moon. I think I lost a fair few subscribers because they were screaming at me. But the wave count has at least proved itself so far. This is a 1-2 pattern higher, and I don't think we're at that higher low just yet. If you go to the hourly count again, I'm kind of looking at this ending diagonal wave C to play out. Maybe we get a bounce in wave 4 next week, back above 2050 or towards 2050, and then one last decline in wave 5. And I am probably going to suggest somewhere down, maybe with a break of 1900 or $19 to complete wave C of 2. That completes wave A down, B up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in wave C. So we're close. We're close. Not there yet, but we're close. The FTSE actually rolled over yesterday, did it? Yeah. Finally, the FTSE actually rolled over into an accelerated pattern lower, probably within a third wave. So finally, finally going to begin that big long C wave down, hopefully. Let's get on to the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has been weak for the last few weeks, off a possible second wave lower high. Let's say the internal pattern here hasn't been hugely favoring the impulsive mode just yet, but we might be changing that over the next couple of weeks. I haven't, purposely haven't labeled it for that reason, because I want to see it develop. Let's say develop into a clear impulsive pattern lower, and it hasn't done that yet. So, I'm keeping an open mind here for the moment. I'm still suggesting that we've possible top in for wave 2, and we are beginning a decline into wave 3. The initial moves haven't revealed themselves just yet. So I am open, let's say, on this one for the moment. Okay, so I think that does it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're interested in nightly Elliott wave analysis, get over to OS.org. It's been quite reasonable. It's been fun this week following those patterns as they fell kind of into lockstep together. So get over to OS.org and check out the nightly updates. And if you, to heck with what happens in this world, if your pocket's full or if it's empty, people love, how would you say, they love, or we all love, we're humans, we all love bragging about our successes. But let that one major success of your life be eternal life. I went through last week, the close of last week's video, and I gave you a glimpse of the probability that all of this just Darwinated itself out of nothing. That, first of all, nature doesn't evolve upwards. That has been scientifically proven. The human genome is degrading over time. The genomes of creation itself is degrading over time. It's not improving. Our genetic code doesn't improve over time. It actually was far better hundreds and thousands of years ago. Our genetic code was much better. We're actually probably weak and trivial versions of our ancient selves. So that should prove to you, Darwinists, that it's impossible for nature to kind of stumble forward and get better because it actually doesn't happen that way at all. So I would suggest that you look towards eternity because nature itself points to eternity. Creation itself points to eternity. Creation itself points to a creator. And that creator gave us a fallen being a path back to himself in the form of Jesus the Messiah, Yeshua, HaMashiach, Ben Yosef, Ben Elohim, Jesus of Nazareth. And the only thing that is required of us, it's so simple. You believe in what he did for you. He died, took your sin to the grave, and rose and left that sin in the grave. So it's paid for. The very fact that he rose again is paid for, or proves that your sin is paid for. You got to believe in it. God created you with a free will, and your free will, you have a free will to accept what he did or to reject it. So that's what is left to us to do. And I'll see you in eternity. Apart from that, I'll see you tonight. If you're on the website, heidi ho, I'll see you there later. Okay, God bless. See you next week if I'm still here. If I'm dead, you'll know I'm in heaven. So don't worry about me. Bye bye.